let's get into synchronicities and the observation of powerful days, right? Now, we know that, a lot of the slaves was told late that they was free. See, a lot of people was told late that they was gods. You feel me? Letting them know the power of self and the knowledge of self and the ability that they have to be able to tap into themselves. Synchronicity is finding the meaning in the otherwise meaningless. On a normal day with a person with no observational powers and lower consciousness, they don't know what this day means whatsoever. Right? But these portal days are junctures in time where you have the ability to be able to do more because you can go further because of the way that this thing operates. That's why a lot of powerful things happen on the 19th. You understand me? It's no coincidence whatsoever. But that's why I love to study numerology and the mathematical understanding of the universe, because it composites thought that allow you to be able to understand how all these things operate. Even if yesterday or day before yesterday I had a bumblebee landing on my hand, you understand me? And I always attract bumblebees. And when I was doing some of my study on the 19 energy, the geometrical shape of the universe is a 19 based on geometry. So I'm going to break that down. I'm going to put that out there in a high-level conversation just on how the perfect geometrical shape is of 19. And a honeycomb and a bee, they operate in that same form. They utilize 19. Now, when they study string theory of the universe, they give a breakdown on how, the interconnected weaving of the universe looks like a honeycomb, and the geometry of it is the number 19, because we did not invent mathematics, we found mathematics. You understand me? And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, when we had Million Man March, he gave a breakdown. He said that, on these steps, the Jefferson Memorial, there lies a secret, and the secret is the number 19. And in that secret, he gave a breakdown on how, there was two statues. One was of the 16th president, one was of the 3rd president. You understand me? And both of them were 19 feet high. And it represented, hold on, my brother interrupted me and stuff. It represented, the secret on what happened on these steps. And what happened on these steps was the sale of black bodies. You understand me? So there was a trade where black bodies would be sold right there at the Washington Monument, where they consecrated, right, that event that happened there on those steps, because they like to make sure that they keep energy. Even if you go and look at Jekyll Hyde, and you go look where the international bankers first came up with, and they created the international banking system as we know it is today, and they wrote everything out. They did it on land that had been consecrated on top of a memorial that was of a blood sacrifice from the Native Americans. And why do they do that? Because they know that there's energy that lies into that, and they utilize that energy to build their systems on top of. Right? Once you understand the power of those things, then it becomes understandable. Now, he say when that 1 is next to the 9, it means something to be uncovered. Right? So what was it to be uncovered? And that was the secret of America as being black bodies. So Juneteenth, with it happening on the 19th, was no secret, because even when you go look at the studies and the histories, they're going to say that the first black bodies that came over here, they said it was 16 to 19 bodies. Now, first, they saying that the first slaves that came over was only 16 to 19 of them. You understand me? Even though that number is actually wrong, because it goes back to 1555. You understand me? And they changed the date on it because they didn't want you to know about the hidden 16 years. They said it was, 1619. You understand me? Hidden 64 years. And even that, so they saying it's 1619. You understand me? It was 16 to 19 bodies. Now, why do these 19s come around like this? You feel me? But they put it there on purpose because it's a sign and a symbol and a recognition of them being able to flip power and take over power. Right? So you got to understand what the true power is. What happened in 1555 was the making of the slave. Before they made a slave, they had to study, right? And what they had to study is, how do we break them down? They did a lot of studying on your psyche, your spirit, your energy, how to destroy a man and woman, how to destroy the will, how to separate, how to break away a family, how to maintain control. Because you can't really make a slave until you kill the will of a slave and they no longer have a spiritual energy. So once they do that, and you no longer have that energy, you no longer have the testosterone, and they never perfected it because, there was insurrections for the last 400 years and never stopped being insurrections where, the original people stopped fighting for their freedom. You understand me? It never stopped, not one time. Like, it wasn't just Nat Turner. It happened throughout the whole entire time. There was sometimes hundreds of folks getting killed, tens of folks getting killed. There was ways that they was learning how to communicate with each other. It never stopped. We never stopped fighting for freedom, no time ever. That's the spirit that's never been able to be killed ever in this country. You understand me? And once you understand that, then you bring it back up to now and why they have to consistently maintain these experimental things, have to maintain systems, constructs, and order. Because the moment that we just leave y'all alone, y'all gonna start healing, y'all gonna start building, y'all gonna start taking over. You understand me? You start getting back with your woman. Like, imagine if we control media on our own and all of a sudden every picture that you've seen was pixelated with images programmed us to beloved each other. Images about showing us what economic power and unity, images that just had us tapped into high vibrational. It will manipulate, reinforce us, and re-engineer us and revision us back into the thinking of God or who we truly are, without all of the things that's constantly putting us down. Because we have an energy about us that fights against anything that comes into us that's unnatural. So in order to keep us down, it's like you got to consistently apply a sedative to them. I gotta keep putting you to sleep, because otherwise you're gonna wake back up. So every once in a while they apply a sedative to keep you understand me, from realizing your power. It's like, I watched the movie X-Men or something, and they had this drug that they created to keep the mutants from being able to utilize their power, but it didn't work forever. It wasn't permanent. They had to keep applying it. Otherwise, you understand me, they gain consciousness. All of a sudden they can utilize their energy and then they can take over. You feel me? So on these days, these junction days, synchronicity is for the high level observers. You got to build, you got to tap into these days. Then you have to look around what's happening that surrounds these days, because there's always something important that happens following the 19th. Look at this. Bitcoin is at 19,000 on the 19th, on June 19th. You understand me? Like, it jumped down to 18, but I knew it was going to come back up to 19 today because it's the 19th. Why you think these things happen? I've been trying to give y'all a breakdown and be able to utilize and apply and understand the circumstances. Now imagine if you look at the foresight and be like, man, Juneteenth, we probably go get a Bitcoin at $19,000. Your high level observational powers wouldn't have been wrong, right? So that's an applicable sense of being able to utilize that. Now, when you look at this year, man, it's all been all kind of crazy events that's been happening around the 19th. But we're not even going to get into that. We're going to talk more so about just the idea of understanding where we are, right? We go to 1919, that's Marcus Garvey, and then that was the first building of the Black Wall Street. You feel me? A building of the Black Wall Street. We started building on that day. You understand me, though, that year rather. So 2019 was the 100-year anniversary of it. So this is a time for those who are of that ilk, of that understanding, of that knowing of themselves, to be able to tap in. It's more than a celebration. It's an elevation. It's a reason that the Father's Day lines up on this day as well, because right now it's about the consecration and the freeing of men from the masculine energy. You understand me? Allowing you to reawaken that spirit of who you are. Of course, there's going to be people that's going to fight against it. You understand me? Of course, you may be distracted by the lack of appreciation and gratitude towards it. But no, don't worry about that. It's not up to the world to give you back what's already yours. It's up to you to claim that throne within yourself. Because the thing about Juneteenth that I never liked as a symbol is that it was a time that slaves didn't even know that they were so-called free. But like I was talking with my pops, he like, shit, they never even left the plantation when they so-called found out that they were, so they never was. And the idea of somebody telling you you free can never free you. You have to have a self-emancipation within yourself, where you consecrate the day that you tell yourself that you're free, and there's nobody else that can do anything about that. Because there were slaves that was free way before these days. Every slave that ever fought, you understand me, and died, you understand me, died on their own terms. They didn't die a slave. There was many that didn't die slaves. You dig? Any person, y'all can go to YouTube. Me and Pops got some conversations up there. But any person that fought during that time that they were so-called in captivity, They wasn't no slave. What you mean? Those are soldiers and warriors. You feel me? That's what they were. And even the idea of thinking of our ancestors as slaves is to destroy the identity of who they really were. Some of them were scientists, some of them came over as engineers, some of them were builders, farmers, agriculturalists. They had identities, they had a spiritual activity in life. They had all of these different things. They had names. So to blankly call them slaves, even their energy had a name, even if they didn't know their pure name, because they just start calling them by the slave master name, which is why if you want to go through one of the most important rituals in life as an original person, it's the renaming of yourself, because you reclaiming and revibrating the energy that's on you. Because otherwise, you walking around with the name John, you walking around with the name Clemens, you walking around with the name Thomas. These are not original names. They don't hold any power or weight or any ancestral connection. The only thing that it represents is that your ancestors were previously owned by someone else's estate, and that they lived on that land, and they took that name because they were branded and they were their property, and that the consistency in having those names keeps you connected to that history. So wouldn't you want to retake the name of the ancestors who were free, who were giving names based on the mathematical energetic properties that the names held in consistency with their spiritual identities? That to me makes more sense. So and you have to do it in a manner, because the world won't respect you until you have an original name. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. But some of us be like, well, I had it so long, I've been doing it so long, I can't change it. That's exactly what a slave is. A person that believes they can't change their condition. You know, and then you start to accept that which was given, instead of having a belief in, oh, at any moment in time, I can decide and I can self-emancipate and I can be free. So anything that was given on you, oppressed on you, became your curse, whether you inherited it or not, you have the ability to emancipate yourself at any point in time. It ain't got nothing to do with your parents, your pastor, your preachers, your ministers. It had nothing to do with none of them. It is all about how you save yourself, how you free yourself. So everybody has to have a personal Juneteenth. You understand me? Where they decide and they have to say it to themselves, I free myself. And then you have to act accordingly as a free man and or woman. You did? So the Juneteenth energy is a powerful energy. You feel me? The 19 energy is a powerful energy. The Father's Day, we are, men standing up and becoming better fathers, man. It reclaims and rebalances the conditions of society. Because one thing about society today is no longer based on the father's thoughts, right? A lot of men think they being men by protecting thoughts that are other than themselves. And what I mean by that is some of the weaker constituents of society, their ideologies are now being ran. And a man believing that the best thing for him now to do is, well, I need to assimilate. I need to be a part of this. So I'm going to utilize some of my masculine energy to stand up for this. Love is love. We should let our children become whatever they want to. Let this, that, and the third. No, that doesn't represent your strength. It represents your weakness, because it's not connected to your original thought. Oh, I can't talk like this. I have to be careful about the other people. No, you have to claim territory and or space. See, unfortunately, black men, what we got caught up in is the fight against white patriarchal intellects and rulership. And we took on the guilt of white patriarchal intellect and rulership. You understand me? And now we face the consequences, but we never had our ideologies and intellect rule over, you understand me, in the time in which we live to even know what that means. Right? So what we've been dealing with is being victims on double layers of white supremacy, in the sense that when white women fight against the ideologies of white men, keep them unequal, and they didn't get, check this, remember the 19 also represents the feminine energy as well. I'm gonna give y'all a breakdown. But when the 19th Amendment is what? Giving white women and others the rights to vote. They didn't have that right to vote, because the 19 represents masculine and feminine. The 1 and that 9, that's masculine, that's consciousness. The 9, that's feminine. You understand me? It represents the pregnancy. You feel me? That's the subconscious. Now, I know it probably won't make sense till we get some logical understanding on this, right? But if you think about it like this, if you look anywhere in the history of European context and history, you're going to find where they never treated their woman equal ever. There was no ever equal treatment. So they always had imbalance, because the only way that she used to have value is if she had a boy. That was it. If she didn't have a boy, then she didn't give him an heir, so he can continue, right, the masculine line, the patriarchal line. So therefore, she never had value. Didn't want to hear her intellect, her say-so, none of that. You got to remember this. You understand me? She didn't even she got the right to vote after even black people in America. Now, that's a cold piece. It was like, no, you stay at home, raise the children, and I'm going to treat you however I want to. But in order to have balance in any society and structure, you got to have that 1 and that 9. Those energies have to be balanced. But his was 1-1-9, right? Meaning masculine, the man, the boy, right? Then the mother. In original societies, it was man, woman, child. You dig? Man, woman, child, or God, man, woman, child, but man, woman, child. That's balance. So anytime you have a society based on an imbalance where there's more masculine energy, right, and there's no balance of the feminine energy, then you have a society that's destined to create terrorism, to create sickness, to create mental illness, to create issues and bias and all of these different things. You dig? Just think about that for a second. So, yeah, without women, there's no balance, right? So then, now we at this point where, you know, is some of the ideology is more so based on woman, boy, than man. You understand me? So it's a 911 society. That's what I'll call it. We're in the emergency times where things are shifting and changing. But if you look, they wouldn't even let Hillary Clinton. They still don't respect their woman. She still couldn't get in office over a black man. I'm just saying. She still couldn't gather them votes. That 19th Amendment still didn't work. So she still ain't found her balance. You got a black so-called black Indian president, vice president before a white woman. Still imbalanced. But you got to understand the relationship at the same time, where black women have always had a special place, because black women were the first computers. That's where computers was made, off the mainframe and the thought process. You know, they used to have black women in the basement of NASA. They were the ones that were calculating. They would bring all the problems to the computers, and these were literally a team of black women that would sit there and they would handle all of the issues. You understand me? Before they had any physical computational computers. And so now intelligence is based on our computational design, our ability to synthesize information like computers. You feel me? Which was the original context of how black women were utilized in society. Which is why white men always utilize black women in their business and in their construct. They always wanted black women around. You dig? I'm trying to give y'all some game here so y'all can understand. Yes, they were the hidden figures. So when you understand that, and you trying to get back to a place, I approach different men and women. You should have.
I got it to you, man. For sure.
Actually, I think I do got it. Yep, I got it in my pocket. So when we look at that, man, and I'm trying to get y'all back to understanding, because when you have a mind that's aligned and you got a 19 mind, because people be thinking I'm 19 keys, I represent the 19 keys. But the 19 mind is when you have, you understand me, your conscious and your subconscious aligned, meaning the logical, rational, mathematical mind, that God mind is in front. Then you have the emotional, the seat house of intuition, right? That's your subconscious mind, but you filter all your emotional thoughts through your logical mind. So therefore things are balanced. But we now have a generation where the young boys have 9 minds, is what I call them. They're more feminine than they are masculine, right? And then the women are more masculine than they are feminine. So they're all imbalanced. You did? It was Mother Tanetta who gave an analogy of, she said, go look at the planets. You understand me? And the planets represent the feminine. And let's take the man as the masculine energy as the sun, right? And you have those 9 rotating around that sun. That's the balance. So that's why people in astronomy or astrology, they look at the planets and they talk about the representation of the pull that the planets have on your celestial body and all of that, but they don't even realize they're talking about, that pull that it has from that feminine energy, because the masculine energy is the one. It stays the same. It has logical thoughts. It tries to get to purpose. It tries to get to ending, understanding, whatever. The feminine energy is a flow. So sometimes you pulled at different points in time on how you feel, because that's what emotions is. It's based on feeling and vibration. You dig? So you have to understand that feminine, you understand me, that stays in balance, rotating around the sun. And so once you understand the plane of consciousness that you exist on, then you get to tap into high vibrational states. You get to be in line with that 19 energy, observing the world from the right place, balancing yourself from the right place. Your woman at 9, you that 1. You dig? And when y'all come together, y'all make that 19. And when that 1 next to the 9 is something to be uncovered. You feel me? So then that's when y'all able to produce together. I'm trying to just give y'all a little game, man. Make sure y'all go watch High Level Conversations today. Me and the good brother gave some great breakdowns. I don't even be needing guests for real. I can just sit there and do a high level conversation by myself. You did. Just want to let y'all know that. But the 19th is my holiday, so I'm gonna come on here and just give y'all some of that goodness. You feel me? Just come give y'all some of that goodness. So I'm gonna go find somewhere to enjoy and celebrate and, think about all of the energies that I want to manifest and bring into fruition, because our ancestors had rituals of manifestation. They utilized certain dates, times, and made sure. And that goes to every really community. That goes to every people. All of them have rituals, and all of them have certain dates of importance. We the only generation that only follows somebody else's rituals. There was never a time where people of other culture followed other people of other culture rituals that had no connection to their own ancestral line. You dig? I'm just saying, just go think about that. I don't know what the Russian holidays are, or the Chinese holidays are, or the Hispanic holidays are, or the Tibetan, Sumerian and Egyptian. I can't tell you, I don't celebrate all of those. I gotta celebrate stuff that's actually connected with my DNA and my line. That's the only thing that's gonna actually have power. So when you celebrate everybody else stuff, all you do is empower them. You dig? In July 4th, we wasn't even free. So celebrating July 4th is crazy, where we'll make sure the whole family get together for July 4th, but we don't get the whole family together for Juneteenth. That's actually connected to us. July 4th is not connected to us. We was literally still enslavement. So that's why Juneteenth historically was important, and why people had pushed it to consecrate this as a national holiday, because it actually is connected to who we are. You feel me? So you got to remember that. And whether it's, pagan just mean it's not one of the Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Islam, whatever it may be. So I don't really look at whether it's a pagan holiday as my judgment, or whether it's morally correct or wrong. I just look at whether it's connected to me or not. You dig? Because even you can be caught in the dogma of just being mad and disconnecting from things just cause. But nah, find what's actually connected to you and your history. That's the only way you can pull power from it. That's like your family having a holiday that worships somebody else's family, and y'all go give money to everybody else's family. That ain't got nothing to do with empowering your family. Have one that celebrates the worshiping of your family, your human family here on this planet Earth. Watch that bloodline build. Yo, 19 keys, man. This has been my 19 frequency. This is my 19 vibration. Yeah, I will say this and put that out there. Some free 19 game for y'all.